The game is live, and we are going to jump into the fourth map here. Elfi versus Apocalypse. And starting to the top right of the map in blue, we have our Finnish Protoss player here. This is, of course, Elfi, currently in the lead in this best-of-5 series with a 2-1. Lost on Habitation Station against his opponent. Can he edge out a 3-1 victory on Altazim Stronghold? Or will it be a tie and a fifth map between the two of them? Starting to the bottom left, cross position to Elfi. We have Apocalypse, a Korean player here.
You can follow him on Twitter @SnakeSC2.
It's really interesting.
Huh.
That probably has a bit of a story behind it, and I have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
But for someone that calls himself Apocalypse, that's a very interesting Twitter account.
It makes it almost biblical. His nickname, the snake that tempted Adam at eating the apple, or
Okay, I want to see how you put that into a story.
I mean, the apocalypse, the end of all times, religion, snake in the Garden of Eden, and so on. That's what I think of, snake apocalypse. That's how they correlate. Anyway.
That's an interesting train of thought you got there.
I won't tell you the meaning behind Elfitaya.
Yeah. No, I won't try that. I think
yeah.
you have to be Finnish to understand that.
I think it's a good name change to be Elfi.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave out the other part. So, Elfi is choosing to scout at 13 supply, 1 gas. He has opened every other... No. He's opened map 1 and 2 with double gas. And let's see, last map, he did a 4-gate, but from 2 gas as well. Yeah, this is the first map he did 1 gas.
He's 2 gas.
This is the first map he also does 2 gas.
One of many.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so the Elfi once again with the double gas. And talking about gas, we have Apocalypse also with the refinery now. Started things off with the command center first, though. And this is one of those maps where you see that a lot. You have this pocket expansion where you really don't take a lot of risk. You only have to defend 1 single ramp for 2 bases. Of course, as soon as drop play comes into the equation, it's a little bit like a little bit different. But at the beginning, it's a great map to take a very early expansion. But it looks a bit like we are gonna see a proxy play by Elfi, and considering that we have Apocalypse with this very greedy opening here, that could do a lot of damage.
Yeah, so this is gonna be a proxy Stargate. As we see Elfi scouted the top left. Terran wasn't there. He wouldn't have proxied here if the Terran was there. And then he knows bottom left or bottom right is Apocalypse. So he makes it in between the two, so he's fine either way, and then scouts out. And it's pretty perfect for him, with Apocalypse not seeing that probe at all. That makes him less suspicious of proxies, because sometimes you see the probe come into your base, it leaves too soon, and then you kind of like, are you doing something funny?
Yeah, well, and for now he gets the SCV into his opponent's main base, or at least he's trying to. That Mothership Core doing quite some damage here. And he gets it, so there's no scouting information, there's no information that there's a pylon missing. He doesn't really know what's going on here, and that is great for Elfi right now. The best opening that he could actually hope for with what he intended to do. And the Oracle, of course, is going to be on the way very soon. Apocalypse is going straight into an engineering bay that will allow him to get his own missile turrets up, but that is not going to be done in time. On the other hand, with a Widow Mine here, he could be able to defend against it, but it's definitely not going to be easy to fend off this attack without severe losses.
Yeah, and he only has 4 Marines right now, with none in production. So with the Widow Mine being halfway, this Oracle is going to be boss for a while. And if he can dodge the Widow Mine, that's great. But Kaldor, do you think that Apocalypse intuited that there is an Oracle coming because he saw the gateway wasn't producing? Maybe that's why he started such a quick eBay, or it's part of his standard builder now.
Yeah, maybe he was just afraid of it, and to be honest with you, if I'm going up against Elfi, this is one of the things that I would expect.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, he's doing some damage here, but the Widow Mine takes out the Oracle, and Harvest has killed so far 7.
That's a fair trade for 1 Oracle.
Yeah, it's a fair trade. At the same time, do you think Apocalypse is still in the lead? I mean, with that early of an expansion that he has here?
Yeah, that's true. The Nexus is pretty late for Terran. I think it's a fair trade for Elfi, and he's made a 2nd Oracle, but he's got to watch out not to lose that. He doesn't want to lose this one. That will remove all his scouting, threat, and revelation for later and so on. But I agree with you that I think Apocalypse is in a small lead now, but because of how the build works when you go Widow Mine, Stim is so delayed that it means that Terran will never clinch the victory in the next 5 minutes. Yeah. Stim will be done at like, what, 11 minutes? So there's plenty of chances for elfi to get back into it, and I'm not even sure he is behind at all.
Yeah, it's actually a really good point, the delay stim here, and elfi doesn't take a lot of chances with the double cannon that we see once again, so he wants to make... You already saw the Widow Mines. He scouted that, of course, with the Oracle, and one of the Oracles was killed, and therefore him going straight into a double cannon, quite the smart move, because he says, like, you have the Widow Mines anyways, you're going to a starport, so you will start dropping those bad boys at some point, and I need some detection for that, or I might lose the game because of it. So smart move by him here, and he actually built double forge, so he can go into the double upgrades and get a huge lead over Apocalypse.
Let's see, 1 forge right now, right?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Now I get to correct you.
Could have sworn I saw too.
Okay, the Twilight Council is coming. Cannon is ready. Maybe check out the main. No, there's stalkers. Got to hightail it out of here. Yeah, of course, there's plenty of time to get ready when you scout the Widow Mine with the Oracle on such a big map. So now he's got to try and use the Widow Mines tactically rather than getting instant advantage.
Nice.
Trying to deny the gas probe here, denying the third for a bit. I mean, that one is in detection, so he's just denying some mining time is all.
Yeah, nice pull there. I actually find it's always hilarious when you see Widow Mine just, when a Stalker, for example, tries to kill one, the Widow Mine just unburrows and tries to run away. Do you know, like, when you go to a beach and those little crabs that you have everywhere? It looks very much like that. Yes. They always run away and they are super fast. The Widow Mine is a little bit slower. You can actually catch up, but it always looks like that.
Where did you see those crabs?
At every beach.
Every beach?
Where we
in
go?
Europe?
Oh, I'm not so sure in Europe, but when I was in Australia or Fiji, or like they're everywhere.
Yeah, no, I've seen them in Southeast Asia, but I didn't know if they have them in Germany or Korea or something. So.
No, not at a German beach, but yeah. No, they're absolutely hilarious. I love them.
Cute little crabs.
And they're always, it just reminds me every single time I just see them burrow and then trying to run away.
Damn you, Calder, now you make me want to touch Widow Mines.
Oh, well. There's one that he could actually touch a little bit later. That's blocking the third base, and that's, of course, smart by Apocalypse, because not only will he maybe able to take down one probe, but he also sees when the Protoss player tries to expand again. And elfi, oh, no, he won't. Well,
a scan would kill the Observer, a really quick scan.
You saw that? He actually selected it and thought about, like, running away with it. He thought about it, I promise you.
Not this little crab.
We have the Storm upgrade, by the way, now being researched for elfi, as he did in the other games. Charge also coming up, so once again the tech pattern into the Templar Archive. And there comes the second Forge. I had a bit of a glimpse into the future earlier, but now the Forge is actually being built and not just fanning myself. Nice dodge on that shot.
0 probes killed. That
probe just won the lottery.
Yeah, you should always leave 1 probe in. The chance that it glitched like that is very large.
Well, for now, if you actually compare the harvester count that we see here, it's 53 still for Apocalypse against 47 for elfi. So we have still that surplus in harvesters that the Terran player has against the Protoss. And that's always a spot. That's something that you want to try to avoid, especially since Apocalypse is now also going into a third. Good Stormy, on the other hand, and forces the Terran player to move back here. Not a lot of damage done with those few medivacs, but still, the Terran player finds himself in a much better economy position. He gets the third base already, he has a better harvester count. And elfi is really, really struggling here. He has a good tech, but he doesn't really have that economy that we see for Apocalypse.
Yeah, that's right. And he's also been massively supply blocked. I think he's been on 84 out of 84 for at least a minute already. And yeah, it doesn't look like he's looking to build probes. He's not building probes right now, so at least it didn't hurt him in that way.
There comes the third base now for elfi. And Apocalypse is already on the way to get the Coast Academy. Upgrades, he's trying to catch up, adding +2 attack, adding +1 armor. elfi is now already on 1-1. They're actually very, very even in the upgrades. Just a tiny lead for elfi. Yeah. Once again, the Terran player moves in, and that is what makes Terran players so strong once they gain the map control.
Yeah.
Just these stim-ins, that burst damage that you can do with the Terran army is just incredible, and elfi had to suffer that twice already in this game.
Yeah. Oh no, he's gonna get stormed big time. Oh my god. Completely AFK because of this Zealot drop here.
Yeah, that Zealot drop is maybe bringing him not only back in the game, but maybe is even gonna win him the game. That was incredible. Not only did elfi now take down 14 harvesters in total, he did a lot of damage here at the bottom left, and at the same time catching his opponent's army out of position and off guard. That was amazing for him.
Yeah, I mean, we can say elfi orchestrated it because he didn't just sit back, take it up on the chin, didn't do any counter aggression.
Yeah.
But Apocalypse gave him a huge gift there, losing 3 full medivac worth of units. Very painful loss there for him, because everything was looking super on the up and up for him.
You know, we're talking about players that make mistakes, and if you look at what Apocalypse did, that was definitely a bit of a mistake there, but the beauty is that elfi forced that mistake.
Exactly.
It's not that Apocalypse just stood there and suddenly had a bit of an error. No, it was elfi just putting him into a position where it was a bit of a loss-loss situation for Apocalypse. A really good move by elfi. Losing the Warp Prism here, on the other hand, trying to drop again into the natural of his opponent, and even, well, he forces the ACVs of the mineral line, and Apocalypse loses a little bit of mining time there. But the Terran player is still 33 supply ahead of his opponent.
I'm really happy you said that, Calder, because I feel like there's altogether not enough emphasis on when players make a mistake, whether it was forced mistakes or just I'm a bad player mistakes. And Apocalypse was, he was engaged there in a forced mistake. With the timing is very important there. elfi drops and then wait how many seconds, 0 or 5, or wait how many seconds to suddenly move in on that army there, which he knew was there. So yeah, that was a nice job by elfi. Still a mistake, of course, for Apocalypse, but nice move. Now, elfi is climbing back into it. His upgrades are now looking 2-2, 2 attack, 2 armor, and he's against 2-1, soon to be 2-2 for Apocalypse. So, if not ahead, then at least very on parity. And he's getting his Colossus switch right now. And at this moment, Apocalypse has 5 ghosts and isn't making any right now. So, he's been getting ready for the High Templar switch, and it still remains that elfi is getting the next tech unit before Apocalypse is ready for it.
Apocalypse is once again going into that second starport and really trying to get the numbers out there. If you look at his medevac count, it's much better than it was in the previous game. It's already at 8, so that really helps him. With the second starport, he will be a lot more flexible against what elfi does. So far, Apocalypse still in the lead. He has better supply. He's really trying to get his upgrades out as fast as he can, getting a 4th base here. But as you already said, elfi is really trying, he's making the moves that he needs to make to come back into the game. And if Apocalypse makes 1 or 2 mistakes here, then elfi can suddenly just claim the dominant position in the match once more. So he's also trying to get these upgrades out. I feel it's all about the storms that he lands now. Even with the Colossi being a factor, the storms, in my opinion, are really important now. If he gets the good ones off, will be great. If he gets the storms like in game number 2, where he suddenly stormed his own Zealots, then I think Apocalypse is going to take him far here.
Now, you mentioned the storms, and it's all the more relevant because Apocalypse is very marine heavy. 52 marines and only 10 marauders. An unusual army composition for Terrans, to be sure. He's gonna take down this 3rd base, but he will be in a catastrophic position if he gets caught from behind with some of his units still shooting at buildings. But he's going for it. He's going completely for it. What a bump.
Yeah. He moves in, and there is so much DPS. There's the storm, the first one, and that one was absolutely beautiful. That was completely... he was caught off guard there. He didn't really see that High Templar. Here comes the rest of the army. First of all, taking down a few of the medivacs, trying to cut down the path of retreat for Apocalypse. Once again, the storms hurting more Zealots than actual units, but we have so many Colossi backing this up, taking down that army. The medivacs are trying to escape here, and Apocalypse, he's still in the army supply lead with 73 against 47, and elfi, his hand is forced here. What else can he do? He needs to walk across the map and do damage. Do you think he has any other option?
No, he doesn't. You're completely right. He's with 2 bases against 4, a depleted probe count. He lost one of his forges. He lost some infrastructure. He just killed a large part of the army. Theoretically, doing an all-out attack would be the best shot at this game. Unfortunately, the numbers aren't on his side. He doesn't have a advanced proxy warp-in pylon either, so he's got to use that pylon down there at the Stargate. It's still there, but so far he's just moving in and warping at home. Researching Blink. What does he have here? He's got 4 Colossi, 8 High Templar against 3 Ghosts with Cloak and 7 Vikings. He has a chance here, but he's got to make it work in the next minute or so, or Apocalypse will actually equalize this game to 2-2.
The last map would be Polar Night between the 2 of them.
Wow.
But now we have elfi going in at that 4th base. There is a planetary already. He realizes it and moves back for now. He's double expanding behind all of this. The +3 is not done just yet, of course. And here we have the EMP, but missing those 2 High Templars. He can use the storms, and he uses storm number 1. Gets the second one off as well. Is it enough? The Colossi attacking the planetary fortress. Not what you want there. elfi's army is taken completely apart. He's trying to run away with a few of the stalkers, blinking away to safety. But Apocalypse has a 70 supply lead now over his opponent.
Apocalypse was ready there with 6 bunkers, so elfi kind of went to the top and the left, but during that 3 of his 4 Colossi were attacking the planetary fortress, something that must have entertained Apocalypse to no end.
Well, there's elfi is in a very dire situation right now, and it must also mess with his head a little bit, being had 2-0 in the series, suddenly looking to lose maybe game 4 as well, and then being forced into a 5th. Apocalypse, on the other hand, starting off a little bit slow today, but he is really starting to begin his comeback here with 3 command centers now being built. He's already on 4 bases. He has great income. He's just trying to solidify his position, getting those +3 upgrades out there, not only for his bio forces, but also for the Vikings, the +3 attack upgrade.
Wow.
And if you look at the Viking count, there are 10 Vikings. We don't even have a Colossus.
Yeah, elfi decided to go into quadruple immortal rather than invest more in a unit which is already kind of countered by the number of Vikings there, so he's trying to get an advantage back in that way.
Well, he really needs an advantage somehow, but it looks very unlikely that he's able to clench out a victory here. The bank that is being built up for the Terran player will allow him to remax very, very fast. Here come those Cloak Ghosts once again moving in, trying to get their snipes off. Of course, EMPs would be great against those High Templars as well. He's just trying to look for the Terran play, for the Protoss player. Always, of course, also dropping the scans once more with a snipe at one of those spaces. A very dire situation. elfi, great storm, of course, for him. And can he really force his opponent back? He might be able to pull it off. He's really killing a lot of army supply already. Here come those Vikings going into assault mode too. And the Terran player's army is completely cleaned up here.
Wow. Yeah, that's very surprising. Look at that supply. Just now it was 200 for Apocalypse against 135 for elfi. And this can only be called a decent result for him. But we see the way Apocalypse is using his army. He will throw away everything, but he gains economic lead.
Yeah.
Kills part or most of the Protoss army, and yeah, took down a base there. How much is elfi mining here? 2 bases right now. And Apocalypse took a 5th already.
Exactly. Apocalypse all with the 5th and the 2 extra command centers that he still has, where he can use mules, he can use scans, he can do whatever he wants here. But elfi really starting to do some damage, and winning those fights will help him in the end to get a big army out there that might be strong enough to contest what Apocalypse has there. So elfi with some good moves, but it's of course the sustainability that that the Terran player has right now that really puts elfi in in a bigger of a bad position.
Yeah.
But maybe if he wins like 1 or 2 more fights, he might be able to pull something off here. But it's going to be difficult, especially with the Terran army forcing its way in once again and taking down such important units as all those Immortals.
Yeah, and that was well, that was really bad for elfi. He just lost all of its expensive gas units. Those Archons evaporated in just a second. Really quick on the trigger there with the EMP button, Apocalypse. And of course, elfi was already in a very dire straits. That's the 6th base for Apocalypse. And elfi just got his 4th back again. It would need a massive mistake from Apocalypse to lose this game. And when you've got a lot of scans and Cloaked Ghosts with EMP and Snipe, you shouldn't be running into storms anymore. Anytime you get into Protoss area, you scan in front of yourself and make sure that no High Templar surprises you. Difficult for a medium-level Terran player, but these highest level, really quick Terrans, they scan everywhere. Will cloak their ghosts and try and...
And talking about the scans, we have 4 more commands in this building. That's all these excess minerals that he has. With that, he will have so many scans available in addition to the mules that it's basically like a legal map hack that you have there at your disposal.
Yeah.
So he can scan the entire map whenever he wants. Looking at the game right now in army supply, we have 130 for Apocalypse against 81. Those storms, of course, could change the game. But with all those ghosts that we have, we're looking at 13 ghosts right now with 2 more building as we speak. 5 actually at the same time on the production tab. And this 3rd base is 4th for elfi. Once again pressured and taken out. He can't even contest it.
GG!
GG has been called in Apocalypse. He suddenly turns the tide of the best of 5 and brings us into game 5. The score equalized, so very interesting position here, and a lot of momentum going for this guy.
Yeah, and this was a proper game. Both had their moments of aggression. Both executed their own plans in this game, and Apocalypse drew ahead in a fair, or let's say, in a normal way. He fought for it.
Yeah.